it's hard to put in words. I'm excited of where I'm at, and this progress has been amazing. And you've taught me so much that my testosterone has increased, 200 to 300 points. It's been fantastic. I found my not only energy but tracking the weight that I was pushing increased 30 to 35% within 2 months.
Wow.
Cooper's check-ins weekly, and it turns out to be daily at some point, really pushed me to make sure I was doing all the activities.
All right, guys. So we got Aiden here, a super special guest on the channel here. And Aiden and I have been working together for the last 4 months, and this dude has just like skyrocketed his energy, and he's just so much more dialed when it comes to nutrition. He's cutting body fat and just really, really crushing it in the program, and I love to see it. So welcome, Aiden. And yeah, why don't we start by just kind of telling me a little bit, like kind of give everybody some background on just like, kind of who you are, what you do for work and all that.
Yeah, great to be here. For work, I live here down in San Diego, and I did commercial real estate and transition into fintech and artificial intelligence at a startup based out of Southern California. And then, of course, have a few side hustles that take up my time on the side. So as soon as I saw a lot of your content that you started pushing up, talking about natural testosterone, low energy levels, and trying to get to your peak performance, it really spiked my interest. So as a lot of guys can probably relate, if you're overperforming, you kind of have to compensate with caffeine or whatnot. So it was really interesting to see, where my bloodline kind of sat at the beginning of this program. But that's kind of where I started and why I looked into the program. And I'm sure you'll ask me questions on the results, but it's been good. It's been great.
Yeah, man, good stuff. Maybe talk about some of the initial challenges and things that you were experiencing beforehand where, you were just like, okay, like I got to do something about this because this is not where I need to be.
Yeah. Outside of just caffeine consumption, I had this like really deep drive that, after, 4 to 5 hours of work, I was like, I just had to take a nap to like refresh the brain. I'm constantly moving at a million miles an hour. And so I found myself doing a 20, 30-minute nap every single day. So at face value, it may not seem like the biggest deal. But it set me up, it pulled me away from my work. I got out of the focused, hyper-focused mood. And that's just one of a few examples of, I wanted to make sure that I'm feeling optimal throughout the day. I can't be, needing a nap at 2, 3 p.m. without, slamming a few cups of coffee. So, living and working in this high pressure, high intensity industry, it's really a requirement to kind of be able to push, 12, 13 hours a day. And I know that sounds crazy. So, that was ultimately where we started conversations, and how we could kind of address those issues.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's so important. If you're a high performer, you're a guy that's under a lot of stress, you got a lot of things to do mentally. You got to be at your best, right? And that starts with you. That starts with your health as the foundation and nutrition, your schedule and all that, and just optimizing yourself. So yeah. So what were some of the changes that you noticed as we started to fix some things in your routine and dial in nutrition and all these things? What were some of the changes that you noticed throughout the protocol?
Yeah, one of the first changes and first things that I really liked outside of diet was kind of your recommended push pull exercises and your daily workouts that you set up that were kind of specific to my body type. So I gave those a shot for a couple of weeks. Actually loved them. I had tried dedicated workouts before and they were just okay, but the way that the app that you use tracks weight, all the rest, and then the workouts that you had for me, I found my not only energy but tracking the weight that I was pushing, pretty much I mean, increased 30 to 35% within 2 months.
Wow.
And don't take that exact percent, but it was significant. I surprised myself for sure.
Wow. That's amazing. So your strength on pretty much all lifts went up just massively by like 20, 30%.
Across the board. And obviously, this program isn't a dedicated weightlifting program, but definitely a beneficial byproduct.
Okay. Understood. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Good stuff. Yeah, I love to see how consistent you were with the workouts and just pushing everything and getting where you need to be. It's exciting to see those results and obviously strength transfers over to all those different areas as well. What about as far as like energy levels and kind of like the daily habits and things like that? Like how did you like those things and how did those, I guess, how did you see those things change some of the other areas of your life, if they did?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely did. And as you know, I wasn't the most disciplined in the beginning. It was kind of like a little this, little that, in which at the half point, we're like, all right, if you really want to see the full effect, you kind of got to do it all or nothing. Um, so that was my main goal. Cooper's um, check-ins weekly, and turns out to be daily at some point, really pushed me to make sure I was doing all the activities. And you registered it in this app to make sure I was reminded every single morning. So with those recommendations and in time, I mean, I love naps. Don't get me wrong, but by no means do I need those anymore. My testosterone has increased, 200 to 300 points. Um,
Let's
so I
go.
mean, you know, I can't complain. It's hard to put in words. I'm excited of where I'm at, and by no means am I completely satisfied. Got a long way to go. Um, this progress has been amazing, and you've taught me so much that I've really got to carry on for not just this 12 weeks, but really months and years to come. It's really set a baseline and where I can be. So it's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's cool. And as you know, that's one of the things that I tell people and that I preach so much is it really is a lot of a lifestyle change. And it's not just about doing one diet. It's not just about doing some habits and checking it off a list for 30 days, 60 days, 12 weeks, whatever, 6 months. Like you take a lot of this knowledge with you for the rest of your life, which is awesome. So I'm kind of curious, like what advice would you give to someone who's maybe a guy with a demanding job or a busy schedule, he's got a lot of things going on, maybe for him it's family, maybe it's work, he's got his own business, whatever the case may be, and he's feeling really shitty, he's tired all the time, he doesn't feel nearly as healthy or as optimized as he could be, like, and he might be kind of on the fence about like asking for help or taking another step.
Yeah, yeah. Without me just saying, work with Cooper and go into this program, which is the obvious answer. But I would say explore. Know that you're not the only one that's feeling like that. It's a pretty common thing. Turns out, I thought it was really just me, and that I have to deal with it for the rest of my life. But it's actually, a lot of people deal with it, but it's just a lot of people don't take action on fixing it. So, at a minimum, I would just reach out to Cooper and start a conversation on what that may entail. He'll ask you a lot of questions about how you're specifically feeling and kind of address, what direction you specifically should head in based on your goals. Um, at a minimum, I just start a conversation, whether it's Cooper or not. You can't change anything in your life without taking action. So
Yep. Couldn't have said it better myself. And yeah, guys, I mean, if you're watching this, look, you don't have to work with me, but it's a starting point. If you want some help, reach out. Regardless of whatever you do, don't keep it to yourself because you got to reach out. You got to find solutions regardless. So, and yeah, Aiden, kind of last question for you here, my man. But like a lot of guys are in your shoes, right? Where they're not complete beginners at the gym, right? And they're trying to eat healthy. They're making an effort. They've got, maybe some other areas of their life. They've got work, they've got other things that are like pretty dialed in, but there's still just like a few missing pieces when it comes to their health and their fitness. And they're just a few notches away from being like really optimal. Maybe kind of talk about why you decided to kind of make that jump and work with me, even though like seemingly you had a lot of things that were already going pretty well for you.
yeah, it really just goes down to just wanting to perform and be the best that you can be. Things in life are great. I had nothing to complain about. Energy levels, I could probably manage, right? But in the long run, if you want to be a high performing entrepreneur, a high performing businessman, woman, whoever you want to be, um, you don't really want to be complacent and just kind of feel okay. I want to see where I can go. I'm sure there's a lot more that you, me, and many other people can achieve. So it's all about being the best that you can be and being as best of a performer, I guess you can be. And
Yep.
so with that, you can't just sit in your shoes and wait for some things to change or you to feel better. It's really in your hands to make that decision and make that change. So it was worth the jump. I could not be happier to have made the decision to work with you. And it's really accelerated not only my business life, but also my personal life, and feeling just, a million times better. So
Let's go. That's awesome, my man. Well, I appreciate you jumping on and sharing those kind words and sharing your experience, because I know somebody out here needs to hear that, needs to hear that they're not alone, needs to hear that they're not crazy for thinking that things could be a lot better, and they might need to reach out and get some help or find some more information. So anyways, if you're watching this, if you are a man, if you're a high performer, if you're a guy who is tired all the time, who's not happy with your physique and your confidence, and you know there's so much more out of life that you could get, and you need some help, see the link in the description. I'm not messing around. You shouldn't mess around with your life and your health either, right? So reach out. Let's have a conversation. Let's chat about it. And thanks again, Aiden. And I'll see everybody on the next one.
thanks, brother.
Wow, look at that with the balloons.